This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the May 26th, 2022 meeting of the Ad Hoc Senior Center Feasibility Committee, and we are being recorded, audio and video recorded. So we'll call the meeting to order at 12:33. And we have our grand clerk taking minutes. So we have approval of minutes. Do we have a motion for any approval of minutes? I have them both here. Do we need to look at them? Has everybody had a chance to review them?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Both sessions, both?
Both sessions, yes. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me. I'm remote.
Okay. Do we have a second
Second,
for both sets of minutes?
yes.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, and I have to do a roll vote because we're being video recorded. So I'll call out your name. If you could just say yay or yes or whatever to approve the minutes. Darcy. Darcy?
Sorry, I'm having trouble with my phone.
That's
Yes.
Okay. Libby?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Ron?
Yay.
Audrey?
Yay.
And Janet, yay. Thank you. I don't know where Ed is today. I don't know. I'm sorry that he's not here.
In the accounting office, he looked very busy. I didn't get to talk to him.
Okay. Okay, so the minutes are approved. So, targeted properties. How would everybody like to handle that? Would you like to go through each document and take a look at each document? People can speak to the two groups can speak to what we've presented so far?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so let me just pull up a share screen here. Oh dear. Okay, let me back out for a second. Hold it. I had it all set up, of course. No, it's not. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll just start from the top and come down. We have the '17 East Street rear. And does it help? I mean, we can also look at the property on the maps if we need to, but we can't do both at once. But I think, Rainey, you submitted this one.
Yeah, I didn't, it wasn't until I met with Darcy yesterday and learned how to overlay actually the map. So this just has some basic information that comes up when you just bring up the map itself. So it just says how many acres and who owns it and all that sort of thing. Now that I know how to do an overlay in a map, I can go ahead and, you know, do the same thing for these three properties on our side and, you know, overlay wetlands and things like that. But this is just the basic information, land value. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not for sale right now. It's 8.5 acres. Yeah.
So did you do anything with the form that Andrew sent out?
No, because I did not. I didn't know if anybody else had a chance to do that, but I literally just got back from a trip, so I didn't have a chance to do that in the time that we got the list.
So, I mean, we can go through kind of like the individual sheets, or if you want to talk to them and bring up the overlay map. I mean, is that what's been most beneficial for the group?
Well, I think the overlay map, unless Darcy is able to do that. I mean, she just showed me yesterday how to do it. I just haven't, you know, it was literally, we met at 5 o'clock to look at a few things. So, I mean, I don't know if anybody else in our group, I think it's Andrew, Darcy, myself, and who else?
Libby.
I don't know if anybody else had a chance to fill in any of the forms, but I mean, I think there's only like 6 properties. Unless you think it would take a long time, we can certainly just fill in the sheet from what Andrew sent and see how much we're able to plug in there.
So Andrew sent an example, one example, correct?
He sent,
Like
yeah,
some
kind of a blank sheet.
criteria. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think if you want to start with our properties, we did fill out, I think.
Okay, why don't we do that, and then we'll see what kind of time there is. And if the interest is to try to really get, the list of, what we want for the RFQ and move away from the lands, then we can, whatever people want to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to try to narrow it down to the top 3. I mean, if it's not, I don't
Okay.
want to move too fast if we shouldn't do that today. So based on the agenda, that was kind of our objective, but I
Okay,
mean, we can kind of review things today and put the vote off till next week, till everybody gets a chance, our next meeting, to get everybody a chance to kind of
okay.
absorb everything. So,
Yeah, I had a couple of additional things that we might want to consider on the list. Now I can't seem to pull it up here. My screen's kind of frozen, but I don't know if there's any way to figure out topography from on his the summary of things to look at, but maybe that's something that we could eyeball. You know,
Audrey figured out how to do it. So if we start with our
Okay.
list.
So they are using like a LiDAR or an overlay on GIS. Okay, yeah, that would be good. And then public water. I don't know if that was on his list or not.
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah,
Most properties have it, but some don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the area we're looking, probably we're in pretty good shape, but, and what was the first one,
Probably.
Libby? I'm sorry,
Topography.
topography? Yeah,
If it's too steep, it might preclude
right, okay.
being able to use that property.
So let's start. I'm going to turn it over to Audrey because I'm bringing yours up, Audrey, and you can kind of speak to that.
Sure.
Is it,
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. So yeah, so I actually am a very visual person. So as I went through the different maps and whatnot, and the tools online, I actually took a lot of screenshots to help get a record of the properties. So, this just keep scrolling, Janet. This is just the legend, obviously, for one of the maps. The parcel that we're looking at right now is 79 Clark Street. And unfortunately, it's broken up into like 4 different individual maps. So I just kind of took screenshots of a couple just to get an idea of the shape of the property. This one right here, you kind of get the idea where it actually is a horseshoe shape, where the leg to the right, as you'll see later, is really not very usable. There's some wetlands on there. The slope is pretty steep and whatnot. So, we're really going to focus on the section to the left and that area of the parcel. So if we keep scrolling down, and these were taken from the Muni Mapper thing and whatnot, and all our little zoning maps and such. So it is industrial. So that's the purple, right? Industrial park, right?
Audrey, where is this? What's that building? If you scroll back up, what's the building that's kind of embedded in
Yeah, that's the Keystone property.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
warehouse at Keystone.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. There we go. So the acres total is 16. Like I said, there's a good leg of it that won't be usable. Maybe that will affect us, maybe it won't. It's vacant industrial park, so the setbacks are listed. The one thing to note with industrial park is anytime it abuts a residential area, you have to have 35 feet saved for screenings. The screening itself is, I listed 5 feet. I believe that's a typo. I think it's supposed to be 6 feet of planted screenings, and to buffer from any residential area. So the backside of the rail trail is actually residential. So we would probably have to buffer against that. And of course, across the street from Clark Street, I believe, is also residential. So sideways, it's all industrial, that whole leg of Clark on our same side. So, but that being said, with the plantings, in order to create the screen, that has to be maintained. So that might be considered to be a negative. You know, you've got to make sure that's maintained for the life of whatever. Max building coverage obviously is totally fine. And, 25% of 16 acres, I'm kind of doubting we're going to have a building size that big. It is on a medium yield aquifer. Most of our town is on a medium yield aquifer. You can see the wetlands on that one leg I talked about in this image, right? And if we keep scrolling down, the major access is Clark Street, of course. Areas within 1 mile interest are pretty much everything in town. I mean, you take a mile radius of that and it gets everything. Advantages that it is definitely awesome being next to Conant Park. If that railway gets developed into a rail trail, it's abuts that. Central to town. I like the fact that the access is not directly on Route 10, because I just think that, and again, this is why we hire other people to get better opinions. But I just think adding another access to a main item on Route 10 could create a traffic hazard. So, and hopefully this will be a very, very busy facility. The main parcel, and here's the topography, Libby, and that is actually on the Muni Mapper thing.
Right. Yep.
So again, the section we're looking at is pretty flat. I believe those are 5-foot delineation.
Okay. Yep.
And so it's nice and flat and whatnot. And I do believe we had this discussion yesterday that the shaded green might be the edge of the woods. Does that make sense for topography maps?
It might make sense for that map, but it's not related to topography.
No, I know it's not, but it just seemed like it. If I remember right, the wood line does kind of like go around the building and whatnot. Yep. So I think that is true.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So again, disadvantages, it is an odd shape, which might limit our usability. It's in the, like we said, it's located in the aquifer, the buffer screenings, and there was a discussion yesterday that the perk test in that area could be a little bit iffy. Ron, were you able to find the perk test for 89 Clark?
So the Board of Health, the health director's off this week. She's on vacation. So what I did was I reached out to Ryan Gielaher, owns the land next door. He abuts it, and he actually has had perk tests done on his land, and he said that it was kind of slow out there. The soils are heavy. He also mentioned the wetlands, and he had mentioned natural heritage with the endangered species, but I checked the map and I didn't see that to be true. So
yeah,
but he definitely said it's a slow perk in that area because he owns quite a bit of land next door to that. And,
okay.
And he also expressed some interest. If you guys happen to, if we all decided as a group that that was an area that was appealing, that he would be interested in possibly entertaining some offers too on his land. So,
and which one is his, left, right?
If you're looking, if you're standing out at the road, he would be to the right of that. So
okay.
He said he would meet with the group and offer his expertise as well as a developer and as a site contractor.
Ron, doesn't that a lot that he owns on Clark that goes way back? How would he then have access to the land way in the back? Because he owns.
I think what he would do is he would put a eventually he's going to put a road in there anyway. So maybe the center would come off of a road or something like that.
Does he own the property on College Highway that connects to that other property, Ron?
Yeah, his property goes I believe from Clark Street out to College Highway, so it would loop around.
It does loop around. Okay.
I think he bought a segment, one of the houses that was there or something when it was on the market.
Yeah. Well, that's really good to know that that's a possibility.
Yeah, he like I said, he would come and talk to us as well. So
just similar to the public safety, Ron, we would probably, if we get it select that, or if it comes out of the feasibility study, we probably have the select board reach out to him directly. And as he had any other interested
Yeah.
property.
In terms of the current horseshoe shape of this particular lot, again, there might be a possibility that, again, Marmon Keystone, I've heard varying reports about whether or not they're leaving, going out of business. I know that that land was for sale for a real high price tag. There was some question that was raised by Chief Illingsworth that they might be willing to sell part of it, not all of it. So it may not be that we would be buying a horseshoe.
Right.
Yeah, everything's negotiable. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
At least in our opinion, anyway. So anything else so Audrey, we met briefly yesterday, and yes, Audrey set the bar pretty hard, and I lost a lot of sleep last night trying to figure out how I was going to ever do a job like Audrey did. So, but thank you, Audrey, I can do a screenshot, then I got to figure out what to do with it. So.
Can I ask one other question? On the first picture, it looks like there's an overlap at the corner. What does that mean? If you can go back to the first, if we're done with this, go back to the first picture on this document.
This one?
Yeah, what does it mean when what's the blue line?
Oh, on the first page of the map where it's the index sheet, right?
Yeah.
Those are the delineations for and this was on 28, 29, 22, 23. So unfortunately, those are the cross lines for which pages to go to get information on this property.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to kind of piece it all together.
Yeah, I see now. Yep.
That's all.
Okay, anything else for this property? Thank you, good job. Audrey, appreciate it.
Well, there is one other thing, Darcy, are you there? Do you want to mention what we talked about yesterday?
I'm here. What?
About the
refresh my
gas?
memory.
Well, so this came up, the Public Safety Building Committee relative to this property, that there was a spill or potential spill at the Extra Mart years ago. And so that's one of the reasons we got together yesterday, was to look at all the Mass DEP reports and all that sort of thing. It doesn't seem like it's a problem, and especially not for 79, more for Gallagher's lot, but they've been doing test wells. And I'm pretty sure everything's clear.
Yes. Okay. Now you refresh my memory. So yeah. So the spill, I believe it was it 97 or somewhere back?
1996.
96. And yeah, so they have several wells that go behind Extra Mart, and then on Bruce Coombs' property, then to Gallagher's. And I believe there was only one well on the 79 property. But yeah, I didn't think it was they didn't seem to have any continued issues with it, but they're still monitoring it, looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, maybe one of the engineers could look at that and be able to understand it more clearly as far as what the levels were and what they are now.
And that would be part of the feasibility study. You mean if we were to list this property, we would have that evaluated?
I would think if we could either rule it in or out off of the information that's presently on the DEP site, it would help rather than waste if it was something that was going to be a problem. I personally don't think so, but again, that's not my field of expertise. So I would think that if I'm sorry, what was that?
This is Libby. Do you have
hi, Libby.
Information from so it's a Bureau Waste Site Cleanup, I believe, documentation?
Yeah.
And do you have the information and the test results?
Well, the
I-
most recent report was 3/28/22, so very recently.
Okay, can somebody email it to me and I can find somebody to look at it and see?
Did you end up saving some of them to a PDF, didn't you, Darcy?
Okay, maybe they go
Yes,
in the
I
Google
did. I
Drive then.
did save it, and
Okay.
I can email it. I am having difficulty with, I don't use Google Drive, so I can email it to you, Libby,
Okay,
and to the
sure.
group. I just am not very good with the whole, I've been having difficulties.
Yeah, I was not having a lot of luck with the Google Drive either, so. So that's at the Extra Mart back in 97.
Which is now Shop and Save.
Right, yeah, right. Okay, I can, we can take a quick look at it. I can find somebody to do that.
Good.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Okay, I don't have pictures on the 89 one, but we did look at it yesterday. We kind of had a mini meeting, so the 89, which is next door, and if somebody wants to bring up the mapper and we can look at the property, I can switch back and forth. I don't, while we doing this, I'm happy to do that. But this is 7.24 acres. It's vacant. It is industrial park. I don't think we need 25%.
Can I ask a quick question? Which side of the property we just looked at? Is it closer to Route 10 or away?
Yeah, going towards Heritage. This one is closer to Heritage.
Okay.
Okay. The aquifer again is medium yield, similar to 79, but there's no wetlands. There is a small little pond, but it doesn't demonstrate any wetlands on the maps. Certainly Clark Street to Route 10, as Audrey said, is a great, I think, access in and out for us for a new senior center. And again, everything is close by. Nicely located. Conant Park right across the street. It does not quite abut the future bike path, but it's close, unlike 89, which does abut that future bike path.
79. We're at 89.
Right,
now.
79. We're on 89 now. Yep. So 79. So the assessed value is 81.6, but we know that has nothing to do with fair market value. It's centrally located, good frontage, no wetlands. There's a small easement on it. I don't know, Darcy, if you know anything about that. It's kind of in the northwest corner of the property. It locates on the tax maps. It shows a small easement.
I unfortunately, somehow my phone has got me in safe driving mode,
Okay.
and I don't know how
Yep.
to get out where I
No.
can see the screen.
So maybe something.
And so which property is this?
This is 89 Clark.
89 Clark. So that's Gielahur's property?
Yes, that's Gielahur's property. Yes.
I have it up.
And
I have it up
a
if you want to look at it,
right-of-way.
Janet.
You want to wait? Let's let Rini bring it up. I'm going to stop this share. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hang
Rini,
on.
bring it up.
Yep, hang on a second. Can you see it?
Yep. Okay.
It's right here. It's right here. So there's a little pond on here, but it's 89. This is the one we looked at prior. And this is the one that's, so this is Gielahur's property and this is Heritage Surveys right here.
Right. So it does not show on the tax map, it shows an easement. On the mass mapper, it didn't show an easement. So that's.
So that's the one that was perked then, number 89.
Yeah. And this abuts the other property behind it, which is the Gielahur property you were referring to, which I think is about 273 or whatever for College Highway.
275.
275, thank you.
Yep.
I had to move back a little bit. So anyway, I think it has, I don't know anything about the DEP portion of this. Darcy, was this included in that then? In the spill or not? Or the DEP study?
Yes, that was, they do have monitors on there. The farther you go out, in the direct area behind Extra Mart, there's several, and then as you go farther out, they get less and less. But that lot did have the monitoring wells on them.
And that's
Yeah, I think there was one, actually, I think that there was one was here, one was there, and then there was one right smack in the center. I don't know if this one had any, actually. But again, other people can look at that. But it's, it was right at the edge of the lots here. There were 2 wells here, and then one, I think, right smack here.
Yeah, so if they picked up any migration of the fuel or whatever spilled, then they might put one, you know, if that's the direction it was traveling, then they might put one in another lot. So they probably surrounded it in some sort. But yeah. Could I ask a question or just make a comment about one of the criteria? We say no wetlands, but that's no mapped wetlands that are on these maps. But if there's a body of water out there, we might need to send, or the
Conservation.
architect might need to send, whoever we hire might need to send somebody to make sure and to delineate wetlands, because you can't, there's restrictions for it.
So 89 has been delineated too. Ryan mentioned that to me, so.
Okay. So there are wetlands there. Yeah, and see, that's the point. They aren't, that was my point. Some of them don't show up on this.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a delineation that's already been done and accepted, I believe.
Okay.
All right.
So that's a point that we would make, we would include that in the RFP, that we know where the wetlands are.
Okay.
Want me to stop sharing?
Sure. Unless we want to leave it up, and then we'll go to the next. Any other questions though on 89 or comments? Okay.
Nope.
Well, actually, where did you find the data for the monitoring wells?
That was, it's under Mass. I wrote down the path here. I haven't had a chance to follow up since Darcy. I met MassGov. Under the topics, it would be clean up oil site / spills. Actually, first it's find out about a contaminated property, and then topics clean up oil site spills.
Wow, excellent. Excellent, okay.
Okay, and the other property that we took a look at was the Labrie property. And okay, so this is basically where it's located, the commercial in the pink here. And then there's, this is what, how many acreage there? I don't have it up in front of me, so.
Like 45, 41, there it is.
Yeah,
Just go down a little bit.
this is 41.5, and then this little parcel, which is separate, is a little bit over 3 acres, right? So there's, this was the main parcel that we were looking at
Right.
based on this. And this is again, it says, yeah, it says chapter lands, but we all know that's not chapter anymore.
And it's zoned commercial, or?
Commercial in the front.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is
Residential neighborhood, residential neighborhood.
Mhm.
It should say that a little bit later down.
Okay.
Rolling.
So here we are.
Yeah, so commercial village and residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
Good place to put senior housing if we choose that spot.
I think somebody tried that, and it's on the aquifer heavily. Over the aquifer.
They also proposed that for affordable housing and senior housing, and then backed away because of the septic situation.
Yeah, so that was explored under the housing authority.
Thank you.
Maybe not to the volume that they were recommending anyway. So Audrey, you want to talk about to this? This is your handiwork, so.
Oh yeah, the building coverage. Why did I not save this doc? I should have erased that. Oh well. So yeah, it's because it's residential that we would be in. I imagine it would be the residential setbacks that would govern. And it's interesting because the commercial village side, you know, if we decided to come in from Route 10, I believe that's all taken up with commercial across the entire front. So we'd have to slip a road in there somewhere, but maybe build behind it. So, you know, I imagine the residential data would apply. Other than that, we could come in off from Lynn Drive, as you see. But I got to thinking about that after our meeting yesterday, Janet, and I don't know, having that whole drive section be, you know, it's so residential and have it be heavily populated with people coming in and out. Not sure that would be a blessed activity.
Yeah, I think we kind of commented yesterday about, I'm not sure that people on Lynn Drive would be very supportive of putting a senior center with a little residential driveway coming out. So
Right.
I think it
Right.
would have some
I'm
challenge.
thinking that the main access is definitely Route 10. Right, for this. As you can see, the grading works out very nicely. Everybody's driven by that, you know, but the aquifer is a huge issue right there. As it grades down quite a bit, we would not have access really to the old rail trail that's behind there. But meh, all right, so that's not necessarily a pro anymore. If you scroll down,
And depending on how much property we want, whether that would even be,
right,
if anybody would sell partial, but yep.
correct. Right, so 20%, again, not an issue for maximum building coverage. Wetlands, no. Major road, Route 10, again, Lynn Drive is there, but you know, we're not really going to consider that. And then pretty much everything is within a mile. Advantages, flat and wide, centrally located, great frontage, no wetlands. Disadvantages, the aquifer, the frontage is commercial property like we mentioned, and whether or not it's going to still be for sale in a year.
Or is it for sale right now? It's not on the market right now, is it?
Right.
No, it's not. I have a question. You said medium yield land for aquifer. What was the other on Clark? Was there a difference? Or are they both medium yield?
They are both medium yield. Good question. And that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So there's a big drop off, right? You were saying back here, so.
Yeah, you can see where the topography is.
Yep.
But again, there's quite a bit of land that is in the flat section.
Mm-hmm.
Audrey, you should bring up to the rest of the group that calc maps, whatever it is that you found, because that might help them as well.
Yeah, there is this really cool tool. If you Google trying to do a radius on a map, Google Maps doesn't have that, which everybody's pretty disappointed because Google Maps is pretty popular. But there is this one tool that I found, and it was Calc Maps. So it's a www.calcmaps.com, and you literally can just draw a radius on your map. It's really cool. I can demonstrate it if you want, or I can show you individually after.
Yeah, maybe later, because before Rini departs, I'd like to try to get through a couple more pieces of property. Okay.
But there is a good tool out there.
Thanks. Yeah, we got a good demonstration yesterday. Thank you. Okay, let's see. So we had 8. So which Gorel shall we do? Gorel, or should we do 27 East Street?
Yeah.
So similar. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have time really. I thought we didn't really get together as a group, the 4 of us. So I guess we'd have to sort of do the same thing.
Yeah, I thought Andrew was going to do that. I mean, there were only 3 of us that were appointed members. Joan joined us, but she's not she's an ex officio, so we could meet. I mentioned to Andrew, 4 people is like a quorum, and he may want to.
Don't apologize. The only thing we have to add in are wetlands and the aquifer, and there's probably half a dozen things that have to be added in. You know.
Right, but my concern here is this is 1.38 acres.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty small.
I
Yeah,
didn't
is that one of the, that's one of the sites we actually looked at? I can bring back up the,
Yeah, that's not enough acreage for a senior center and parking. We were looking at 3 acres, I thought.
yeah, I thought we were too, actually.
I don't know how that came out.
And this is, what's the address again?
I thought that was 27.
Yeah, I wonder whether
On East Street,
we
yeah.
plugged it in wrong. What was the, what were the 2 East Street properties? 27 and 17?
There's
Maybe-
27 and 29, which are it's Kaplan is the owner. It used to be, I can't remember the doctor's name that lived there. The
Yeah,
house, and so they're listed separately on the assessor's map, but the property is being sold as one large. The more I looked at it, I think with the pond that they have there and for the setbacks because of the road and the size of the lot, I don't think that those would work. Because of course, the
27?
It's on the-
I have on the list 17.
Yeah, we had
and
like a 17A or something. I'm just trying to find my notes from the last time I can't
There's
find it.
17.
I think I
there's
have
17
17.
rear.
yeah, I can share my map again if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to do
That'd
that?
be great.
Because I don't. yeah, I don't
17 rear. Yeah, that's what it was. 17
Yeah,
rear.
17 rear, that's Paul Champagne's
Right
property.
here.
So that was, it wasn't 27, I don't think.
No,
Well,
those
we
those are the
definitely
ones that are the
27.
corner on the, if you look on the corner, heading closer in.
This is how we get in trouble.
Oh, yeah. See, there's a 17 back there. We ran into
What?
that. There's 2 17s.
Where's the other 17?
Between
Oh, right here.
15 and 19. Yep.
Okay, that's the,
Wow.
that's the problem.
So this is 17 rear and 27 wasn't, that's the house, but I thought that was also additional property from there. Wasn't there 29 a part of that?
I believe they're the same owner, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought so. So I mean, if we look isolated with just 29 or with just 27 and not 29, then
Yeah, see, I think, I don't know. You have to, I'm not going to play around with this here. I don't have enough expertise in Unimapper. I don't want to, usually if you click on it, so I don't know, I must already be in, I guess I have to get rid of these things here.
No. If you, it should be fine.
No, when I click on it, it brings up an Excel file. I have to get rid of this. This is already, it's already telling it to find things and then it comes up in an Excel. How do I get rid of this? So when I click on a property,
You see the DEP wetlands over to the right
Yeah.
in the bottom of the list?
yeah,
The middle thing,
Yeah.
keep going to the left. Okay, that turns things on and off, but you
Okay.
can actually turn that back on. That was your parcels. Nope, that one, go to the right of that.
right here.
In the middle, there's 3 icons. That middle one removes it.
This is trash, right?
Yep. Take it off. Now click the box on the parcels. There you go.
Okay, okay. So now if I hit this, same thing happens. It brings up the identify results. Then I save it. It's an Excel file. I'm just trying to bring up when you,
Yeah, that just gives up. So everything that you've got in your list, it will give you information on.
yeah, I want to get rid of this list. How do I get rid of this list?
You can actually just turn it off.
And how do I do that? I was trying to unclick it. How do I get rid of this so that all I can do is click on a property and it'll bring up the basics?
Oh, I haven't done that. I've always had things open.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, well,
so Audrey's going to give us all a lesson in,
yeah. So
How
you,
did Andrew didn't do any of that then?
No, we didn't
No.
meet.
No, I know, but I just didn't know what his expertise was.
we haven't gone to one of his properties yet, so I'm not sure which one he did.
yeah, okay, I'll stop sharing then. Obviously, we need to kind of look at the 3 properties. Goral is tricky, the one that's obviously not the farm itself, but the one that's there's one lot that's right on College Highway. And then there's the one next to it. And it was difficult to bring it up because they did not list a zero, I think it was like a 0 Moose Brook. So it was very difficult. If you just click on.
I clicked on one, sorry, before you said
That's
that.
okay. No, that's okay. That's the one where there was information. It's a smaller lot. It's only, well, it's 5.6 acres. It's right on the corner of Moose Brook and College Highway.
Highway, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the cornfield?
Yeah, but then there are two lots. There are two lots right there on Moose Brook, but one is identified as College Highway, 299 College Highway, and I was able to bring up the basics on that. But when I clicked on 0 Moose Brook, which is the way the other Teresa Gorell property is listed, nothing came up. You see on the top where I put down College Highway 299, and it brought up the basics. You can't do that for 0. You can't do that for 0 Moose Brook.
Was it 0 Moose Brook or 0 College Highway?
No, it's not.
0 Moose Brook.
Okay.
Right, so there are two properties. One's 5.6 acres. The other one is quite a bit bigger. It's the cornfield. I don't have all the data on it, though. We can certainly get it.
Okay.
I think we need to do what Audrey did for the other 3 lots for the 3 here. Maybe somebody in our group has, like Andrew and Libby, have more expertise than Darcy and I do on Muni Mapper, but I
Not
just.
at all. I have none.
Huh?
I have no expertise on
Okay.
Muni Mapper.
All right, I just loaded up what I could bring up easily as far as basics, but not the topography, all of that. So I think that's what we need to do.
Okay, we should.
Right now, are we thinking that all 3 private properties are on the list from both Clark Street and the one on College Highway?
Would there be any reason to eliminate any of those 3 from anybody's perspective?
Really?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think I have enough information on the other 3 to be able to decide whether any of them should be eliminated or not. Although I think that the 27 East, where there's a structure and then the land behind, might be less likely, but I'd rather kind of learn a little bit more about the lots.
So do we want to, we're going to need to postpone final decision until our next meeting then?
Mhm.
There's no sense of rushing through without enough information, right?
Mhm.
So it's not gonna.
And when the co-chair who votes is not here either, I think.
Well, he's not worried. So, but yeah, I don't think we have enough information on the other 3 then to really weigh the pros and cons. I wonder if Andrew has enough on Muni. I can find out from him if he's got it, because now that he's seen, I guess he didn't do any. Rini, you did all 3 properties then?
Yeah, but obviously I did the wrong 17 because it was 1.38 acres, and I didn't do a lot. I could have done a lot more, but it takes me a little bit of time because it's not my. I mean, I'm just learning because of both committees how to actually work that map and export things like this. But I would rather use our expertise of engineer that have a little bit more knowledge of topography and others right of ways and all that sort of
We can meet
thing.
Separately early next week, or not Monday, but see if Andrew's available, and then we can maybe.
Well, technically, our meeting isn't next Thursday unless we, want it to be, but I would say it's 2 weeks from now. So I
just.
I think she's talking about just us.
Subcommittee, the 4 of us. It's.
Yeah, we can't meet without posting a meeting, and it have to be a subcommittee because it's quorum.
I meant the subcommittee.
Right, but it's still a quorum. There are 4 voting members. I think that Is that a major, is that a quorum?
Yeah, that's a quorum because there's 7 people appointed by the select board. So
Mhm.
How do you do it?
Darcy, Libby and Andrew become, yeah.
Well, you either post a meeting or, if 3 people, want to meet, that's fine too. Let's just look at the properties, make sure we're all actually, I already came out of it. Never mind. I was going to say, I just want to make sure that we're,
On this, I'm trying to find what I sent out to everybody.
About the properties, I've got it in front of me, or it's the one Andrew sent out.
Oh, I think he copied what I had sent to everybody,
Okay.
breakdown. So what do you have, Joan?
27 East Street, 17 East Street rear, and Laurel property on Moose Brook. So that's one. That's group 1, Andrew, Rainey, Darcy, Libby.
Yeah, so slow down again. So 27 East Street, 17.
17 East Street rear, and
And
rural property on Moose Brook. So which she covered, well, to an extent.
So, sorry, the client just left. I can talk again. So the Goral property, not the one that the barns are on, that one, I think that those should still be looked at for sure. But the East Street, I don't think the house that's for sale with the extra property, I think we should take that off the list.
So is
that's
that
the
on the
27.
corner, on the triangle, the big
Yeah.
house,
Yes.
blue house?
Yes.
And what we were looking at the property behind it?
well, both
So-
of it together, I guess,
Both.
right?
There's actually 3 pieces of property there. So there's the one it's the house and then the property right next to it that makes a bigger triangle. And then next to that, there's like a little road right of way.
Mhm.
And then it goes to the I believe it's 17 rear
Oh, it's
East
on the
Street,
other
which
side
is
of that
Paul
road.
Champagne's. Yeah. So there's actually 3 parcels there.
Is that Elm Street, the one that's not paved?
Elm Street is,
Street
so
is-
if you're.
right here, right here.
Elm Street's to the right.
This
Yeah.
is, can you all see my screen now?
Yeah, that's Corral, right?
This is 299, and this
Yeah.
is the big cornfield next to it.
But, so now
Yeah.
we're on, that's Moose Brook. We're talking East Street.
Okay, you moved. Okay,
Sorry.
okay. Want me to bring up East Street?
Mhm.
Yeah, just slide it down, Ree, if you could.
Huh?
Yeah, just slide it down if you could.
Yep,
just-
yep.
'Cause that's right across from the library, which is not a terrible spot, but
But I think after looking at it, it's got the house, which I don't think historical would be okay with that coming down. And then
Right.
it's got a pond in the corner. So originally I was thinking the lot and then the house could maybe, if they would be willing to sell it separately. But with that pond, I think it might be a little too tight in there to try to fit our building, the
Which is
size that everybody
29?
wants.
29, is that what you're referring
Uh,
to?
Right.
Right?
20
Yes.
27. It's
No, it's like-
27 and 17 East.
Yeah, Joan,
Yeah,
we're
so-
talking about what we're looking at behind on the map. So 27 is the house, 29, we left off the list, so my bad. I thought this was all one.
They,
um,
yeah, they are one in the same owner, but they're on 2 separate
Lots. Okay.
lots for the tax, yeah.
So is 29 available or not?
Yes, they combine 29 and 27. It's the same owner. So in the listing, those 2 parcels are combined together.
They're for sale
Yes,
now? Oh, okay.
yes,
And then
And that-
17 rear would be this big one, right?
correct.
And is there any access? What is this right here? Is this an access road or what's 0 here?
So there's a 0, I'm not sure. That's the bike path is next to 0, but then there's a little bitty, there's a swath right here in between 0
Right, that goes
and
back to the,
42.
Yeah.
And then there's also the end of Elm Street,
access, right?
True.
right?
'Cause the rest
Right.
of it's a dirt road. It looks like it's a regular road, but it's not
It's-
really.
It's not Elma's dirt.
Yeah,
Well-
I don't know if it was discontinued or what that road is.
But there's historic buildings that can't be, they have to be included in the property somehow.
I'm gonna have to sign off and I'm gonna have to sign off and switch over to audio for just a little bit. But anyway, I guess I think all three of I mean, this one here, this one there, and the two over on Moose Brook, we just need to get more information. Similar to what we had, I think, from the other three lots, yeah.
And Janet.
Yeah. Did you guys get, yeah, never mind. Yeah, sorry. Talking out loud.
You're allowed.
Okay.
So if,
Yeah, I guess I thought that was one lot on the market, so my bad for not putting 27/29. So if that group wants to reconvene and kind of go through that, I really thought Andrew was going to try to call a mini meeting, but it was too late to post anything. When I talked to him, well, it was late Monday, so.
Well, we're working with working people, so we have to be a little bit flexible.
So shall we defer to this group to reconvene and then at our next meeting be available to discuss it and kind of move forward?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Are you talking for the other group, Joan?
I am. Yeah, I don't get to vote either.
That's appropriate.
Is there anything that, again, to the comment that was made before, between the two Clark Streets and the Labrie that needs to be removed at this point in time?
In my opinion, I think those all should stay on.
Okay. Everybody, I think, yeah, again.
agreed.
All right, so do we want to do we have a list of the buildings? I was trying to find a list that we had for all the buildings that we discussed in town that we wanted to put on the RFP. And I know Libby and you and Andrew are going to kind of work on the draft RFP.
Yeah, I actually was hoping that we could maybe get an opinion from Ed on, or another example of one that he wanted to use. 'Cause
Okay.
I sent a few RFPs examples, but I don't know if there's, and I can start working on it with Andrew. I haven't done that yet, but I'm hoping that Ed can, if he has a particular format that he likes.
Okay, I'll reach out to him and see what he can share.
Okay. And then
I know time-wise, he's straight out with the warrants in the town meeting, so I know the next week or two, he's straight out.
Well, we'll let Ed speak for Ed, okay? So I don't want to make any decisions on his behalf. He's the master multitasker.
Yeah, even if he could just send an example in a PDF.
Right, he
one
may
that-
have something on that he's got that he
Yeah.
can just send out, that takes him 5 minutes, so. Yeah, we're not asking him to create one at this point in time, so.
And then
we'll send
Andrew and
him
I
a
can
message
look
and
at
see.
that.
The warrants are done, the budget's done, so I think he may have a tiny bit of breathing room, tiny, so. You want to talk real quick on the on buildings and put a potential list together for that to be included in the RFP? I mean, we can put it together and then we can keep it and put it in the minutes. And then we can refer to it at the next meeting to take a final vote on that.
So the Congregational Church was one of them. I
Yep.
don't have the address of that.
I can find that. That's okay. It's like 112 or 110.
Well, we're 210, so it's probably 212, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Harley Davidson building, which is 17 College Highway.
And then there's the old town hall, police station.
Which is East Street.
I think it's 3.
Okay.
Were we keeping that on?
I think for them to determine, I think we'll put it on.
Okay.
I think I mean, we can vote next meeting too on the list. That appears if Audrey would include these in the minutes, and then we can agree to vote on them at the next meeting. So, I mean, we also have the current senior center, which is at 210, obviously. And that property. And then the fire station and the property behind that.
Does it have a different address?
I think that's all 210. I mean, we can tighten that up. Any other,
Okay, so far we have 5.
pardon me? You have
So
5?
far we have 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anything else that we've missed? Or Darcy or Ron?
Do we have the fire station on there?
Yeah, I just added that. fire
Okay, yeah.
station And rear property. I'm sorry, Rini had to leave because I don't know, I know they're starting to narrow down their list too from the public safety, but I don't have an update for that. So anything else? So we didn't really have any town-owned property unless we looked at the property behind the fire station, right? And we really didn't look at that. That's kind of hard to divide out. Ron, do you know anything about that property up behind the fire station?
As far as the soil conditions and
Yeah,
the
and
building on it.
yeah,
I mean, I know they did test holes out there and they hit a fair amount of ledge. It's
Yeah.
like hearing that over and over again. Besides that, I don't know. I mean, I'm not super scared of ledge because I've removed enough of it, as far as building goes.
you don't know the acreage behind the fire station then.
I don't know how much acreage is back there. I don't know what, out to the right of that, it's pretty wet, so.
Is it steep, that property goes up the hill?
It
Yeah.
goes up the hill, exactly, it goes up,
It's fairly steep. I can share the map if you want.
yeah.
Go ahead, Audrey, that'd be great.
So, yeah, it's kind of, each one of these is 5 feet, right? And basically we're going 5 feet in
Right,
64 feet. That's pretty steep. 10
Yeah.
feet, 127 feet. And it gets even steeper as you get back here, as you can see that.
That's owned by the town over.
it's town owned,
They
Yeah, it's
purchased it.
connected with the town hall property. Interesting.
So basically, if, each of these buildings, they all share the same property, right?
yep,
That's what we're looking at.
Okay, all right, I see. Yeah.
And as a intelligent man said not that long ago, it's all about the land. So I'm just wondering if this is reasonable.
It'd be
Maybe we
more
just
expensive for
include it.
sure.
Yeah, it would be more expensive.
We're including the buildings, so maybe we just include the land as part of it.
It's part of the building. Okay, it's part of, expansion of the senior center. Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, between the fire station and the senior center expansion, that's all kind of inclusive of that property. So good, that's a good point. Okay. Any other buildings? Darcy, you know anything that's coming on the market or anything that's on the market or besides the historic house on Elm Street?
Yeah, not anything that I know of that would be in the in-town location, no.
Okay. Because they have somebody going into Peebles, right? But that's not for sale anyway, so.
no, that's actually, that's rented out now, they got a dance,
Yeah, the Hackworth Dance Studio or something.
it's gonna be like, it's gonna be a little bit more, it's gonna be a little different than a dance studio, it's gonna be like a conservatory, so people from
Oh.
all over the country will come to it, and
Cool.
learn to dance.
Okay. What
So
do
as
we-
long as we've got the map up, so if we did the church,
Uh-huh, right.
we're not looking at anything expandable.
Hmm.
This is all parking lot here, which we would need. There's the building. There are the outlines of the lot itself. Should we keep it on the list? I mean,
Well, in the square footage of the church, does anybody know what's, and is that like 80 parking spots or 65 to 80 parking spots?
well, we could go count them.
Probably are, I would think, yeah.
I from a zoning perspective, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what the square footage of the church is.
Well, no, but they still haven't determined if, what they want to do relative to the town and the senior center.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not ours to, it's like the property, right? It's not ours to negotiate at this point in time, so.
Can we even include it on the list if we haven't been formally requested by them to assess it?
Well, I think we have somewhat been reached out by the pastor
Interim pastor.
and the.
Oh, okay.
Sent a letter to the town administrator and the select board.
Okay,
They sent a letter.
I didn't remember that.
Actually, I think that was prior to the other discussions that you got, Audrey, that a letter went to the select board and to the town administrator about, I think, wanting to be on the committee or something, and then the interest in the church. So I don't know of anything additional that was received to say that they've changed their mind, and it wasn't descriptive. And I think they just wanted to be more of the process, but nobody really applied for a volunteer to be on the committee. So
Right.
then that was kind of the.
I have the letter if you want me to scan it and send it out, or it was dated March 31st.
So I don't know that, does anybody need to see the letter?
No, that's fine. Thank you, though.
Yeah, it was,
The only reason we would use this property would be to renovate the church for the senior center. Okay. Because you're
So they
obviously
would
not.
keep the sanctuary. Some of it's historic, couple 100 years old, so they would definitely keep the sanctuary. The rest of the building is from the 50s that could be renovated or, taken down and reconfigured. But I'm not sure, like Janet said, I don't know if the parking is enough, and the land is definitely not enough.
Right. So the other thing too is that should we reach out to the church, we being you, Janet, and just ask what their intentions are at this time, because we don't want to waste anybody's time or money if we keep this on the list.
well, I would not do that directly, because I think our charge is to have that kind of communication through the select board or through the town administrator. So
Okay.
we can, I'm sorry, again, Rini left, but I can speak to her and see if she wants to, and to Ed, about whether or not they still have an interest, but they definitely were very proactive early on. But it was kind of a difficult, I'm not sure what the square footage is and how much they need to retain and what we can and can't touch, and.
We would need that for the RFP.
Right.
That's what I was just gonna say, is if in the letter, did they say they wanted to keep the church part of it?
They
Because
didn't,
then I don't think there's enough space for us to build a bit, add on to the existing building, because that building isn't big enough.
I think in the
use-
letter that was premature for that discussion,
Okay,
or, so there wasn't anything about, it was more about being involved in the process, I think.
It does state, given our location, the town should not overlook the value of our building and property, because they are central. It's, anyway, but I don't think it's big enough for our need.
So
I'd have
there
to
was some
agree.
interest in that. So, I mean, I think, as we will reach out to some of these other folks, we'll reach out to those folks as well at that point in time.
Keep it on the list, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's not eliminate it yet until somebody has a discussion. And then the property, behind it up here is town owned, right? That's the Church Hill, which is actually a part of Conant Park, 12 Center Street.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know what this little strip belongs to,
Parks and Rec. Oh, yeah.
but certainly we don't want to build up a hill, looking at the ledge here, and we would never get it approved at a town meeting if we took the sledding away from the.
Right.
So that's not even, doable, but I don't know if there's any additional property here that the town owns that would be.
it's pretty wet in the bottom corner there too.
It's very wet. That whole hill, that street has water in the winter time. It just kind of bleeds right out of the pavement there.
Sure does. Yep.
I don't think it's gonna get a good review.
Okay. So how does it, does anybody, you want to wait till the next meeting to make that final decision then as to whether or not, we have a couple of key people off and I want to make sure they're part of the.
Yeah, we can make that. at the
Yeah, I
next meeting.
think, I agree.
Keep it on the list for
Can
now.
can I ask one other question, or for existing buildings, the church must have a septic system. That would be something else that would have to be evaluated, because you'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
would think.
course.
And for
Right.
all of the properties as well, I would think,
Yeah,
so. We just need to be cognizant of that.
Yes, thank you. Good
I
point.
wonder where that is. It didn't look like much property there.
Under the parking lot, probably. I don't know.
Right.
Hard to say.
Right.
I think they have a kitchen in there, so it must be pretty substantial.
Yeah, it's a
Whoever-
pretty large
there's a
kitchen.
in there.
Right.
Yeah. The commercial kitchen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is a plus
Right.
for us. So any other locations before we move on? No, okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
So is the Harley Davidson this location here?
yeah, it looks like it because that looks like the Red Rock Plaza next to it. So, yeah.
Right.
So the
Okay.
property goes pretty deep, but I don't know how, whoops,
Sorry.
where'd you go?
All right. Here we go.
Does
Yeah,
it-
and the wetlands are over here and here, so it shouldn't be too wet.
Yeah,
Pretty flat, which is nice.
it's definitely worth evaluating.
Yeah, I would say so.
Not as centrally located, it's closer to Easthampton, but
I believe that's on sewer, right, Ron?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it is too.
It goes, yeah, Sir goes over to the car wash too,
oh,
so.
it does. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they brought the line down. Easthampton did.
I
Yeah.
didn't know they brought it down that far. Okay,
Well, at least.
True
they-
Heart may have extended it for the car wash, but the car wash is on sewer.
it is. Okay.
Then it has to be, then that property would have to be, yep.
And then the property, Darcy, that Taylor owns along Route
Yeah.
10, we talked about it a little bit, but that doesn't
That-
look flat and kind of wet.
Yeah, so, yeah, on that side, I was involved in the Polish National
Right.
sale. So, and that, we had endangered species, we have the Rivers Act, and I think just by the time you knock all that stuff off, it leaves very little area to build a substantial size building, parking lot, et cetera. I think it's probably going to be more something, a single family home that'll be in there.
Nothing on Pleasant, right? That's for sale, and on County Road or Line Street, nothing really over in that area, which I know isn't very central, but
Mm-mm.
No, not on the market, no.
okay. Okay.
All right,
So-
anything else?
No, I think I'm just looking at the agenda. So, Libby and Andrew are gonna try, with Ed's hopefully assistance, try to put together a draft. I don't know if anybody else has the background to do that, but that hopefully we can get maybe part of a draft together.
Yep.
I don't know if 2 weeks is a little bit short.
Pull something together.
Think so? So maybe a draft
Yeah,
up next
I
meeting.
do need to talk to Ed, so.
What do you,
um,
I'll send an email to the both of you and try to
Sure.
get it connected, and then then I'll see
Yeah,
that.
I just want to confirm, really, part of it is whether it's an RFQ or an RFP.
Okay,
And because they're structured a little bit differently. So yeah, if you could send an email and ask for an example, and then we can go from there.
okay. And all right, so I know when I talked to Andrew, we talked about trying to have the RQP done by the 23rd. I don't know, based on kind of a couple week delay with the properties, if that's doable or not, but we can look at that as a draft for the meeting of the 9th.
Sure. Yep.
Maybe completed by the 23rd, and then send out proposals. Again, just talking with Andrew and myself, if possibly for a 30-day proposal back by the end of July. So let's see how, we have some playroom in there. So we'll see how that goes. how we do at our next meeting. So we're good with, you guys will have a mini meeting and then we'll have our next scheduled meeting on the 9th. Does that work with everybody?
That works for me.
Okay, good, all around. And then, so 12:30 is still the best time for everybody, 12:30?
Sure.
Seems to be, okay. Try that again, Darcy.
Darcy, we lost you.
Talking like a robot.
Darcy,
She's disguising her voice again.
Darcy's gone.
Darcy?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was good with the next meeting at 12:30.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
If you don't want to adjourn, we can keep going. Okay, Libby, second?
Second,
Audrey, okay, all in favor, let me do a quick roll. Audrey,
yay.
Libby,
Yay.
Ron,
Yay.
Darcy,
Yay.
and Janet. Aye. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody, and good luck with those properties. You already have
Thank you.
pretty good clarification on the properties, right? So, good. All right,
Yeah.
we'll see you on the 9th. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you,
nice
Janet.
weekend, everyone.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.